Today, we're going to be diving into a super fun and important topic, ice fishing with kids. Whether you're new to ice fishing or whether you're a seasoned vet, this video is going to go diving into everything that you need to know to have a safe and fun outdoor adventure with your kids on the hard water. So, if you're ready to hit the hard water with your kids, let's jump right in. Hi, my name is Dan, and welcome to DC Outdoors. Whether you're into hunting, camping, or fishing, DC Outdoors is your source for weekly outdoor adventure videos, gear reviews, and other outdoor-related stuff. Well, please hit that like, subscribe, and that bell notification if you want to see more. But let's jump right on in with tip number 1. My first tip for you is to keep it close to home. Long drives can be tough for kids. If you're spending hours on the road, there's a really good chance that your kids are going to be tuckered out and worn out before you even set foot on the hard water. So I really recommend targeting lakes or ponds that are as close to your home as possible. You'll find that your kids, by getting out to the lake and not being tired for that drive, are just going to be more likely to have fun and to stick it through and enjoy the day on the hard water. Tip number 2 is to be safe on the ice. Number 1 with safety is to make sure that the ice thickness is good. If you're getting out in that early season, you're probably looking for at least 4 inches of ice before you should even step foot out on it, right? The second thing is if you're driving out vehicles on the ice, I really recommend, if you're new to ice fishing, be careful. You are probably looking for at least 10 or 12 inches of ice to be safe. With that being said, you'll probably want to stick to other trails and other roads that people have already made on the hard water. Follow those. Again, though, there's nothing wrong with walking. Walking is a good bet, and it will just increase your chances of safety when it all comes down to it. Always check the ice before venturing out on it. I really recommend that you drill holes often and consistently as you go out to continue to check the ice level. You could find spots where the ice thickness can vary really dramatically, especially in places where the water could be moving. I do not recommend ice fishing on anywhere where flowing water will meet a lake. I don't recommend ice fishing on rivers or creeks ever. That moving water will make things really dangerous. Safety has to be the number 1 priority. Along with that safety comes remembering to bring along a first aid kit. Dealing with fishing hooks and ice augers, people can get cut. So bringing along a first aid kit with some basics to kind of prepare and protect little cuts and scrapes is a really good idea. You may want to bring along ice picks as well for safety. And I also recommend bringing along and being prepared with some sort of bathroom facilities. Bring along some toilet paper. You can also get little toilet seats that kind of go on a bucket to kind of turn it into a toilet seat, or go ice fishing in places where that there's access to an outhouse. Again, kids have to go to the bathroom. Making sure that they have access to those sorts of things is really important for a fun and safe day on the ice. Tip number 3 is to dress them right. Kids are especially vulnerable to the cold, so make sure that they're bundled up in layers. You want to make sure that they're wearing a base layer that's moisture wicking to help keep them dry. Make sure that they're wearing lots of insulative layers like hoodies or sweaters to keep their bodies nice and warm. And then on the outside is where you'll layer up, their snow pants, their winter jackets. Also, of course, bring warm hats and gloves. In fact, I would really recommend bring along a second or even a third pair of gloves. Their hands will get wet. Their curiosity will have them reaching in the water before you know it, they got wet hands. So do consider bringing along extra, toque, beanie, gloves. I actually also bring along extra socks for the kids. And you can throw all of that stuff into a Ziploc bag to keep it dry in case you need it. Also, don't forget warm, insulated footwear. Winter boots are really a must. Another great consideration when it comes to footwear is having your kids wear different footwear in the car than they will wear out on the ice. What I mean by that is if you throw your kids in their winter boots and their warm socks in their car, their feet will get sweaty on the drive. Sweat equals moisture. Moisture is going to freeze and get cold fast when they get on the ice. So I always have them switch their shoes into their warm boots when they get to our fishing destination. So again, they're set up with the driest and warmest possible shoes or boots as they can when they set foot out on that ice. And as a bonus tip, I really recommend bringing along these insulative play tiles. I'll show you one here. We use these insulated play tiles that we bought from the dollar store, and these things are really handy. You can actually put them on the ice, and then when the kids put their boots on it, it gives just a little layer of padding and a little layer of insulation, again, to kind of keep their feet on their boots nice and warm. So I really recommend make a little subfloor out of these foamy little play tiles. They will help a lot. The last thing you'll want to consider, we'll talk about it more later, but keeping kids warm, consider bringing along a portable propane heater. So that's a good thing, and a really comfortable, cozy chair. The last thing you want them to do is sitting on something that's uncomfortable or cold. Again, these are things that are just gonna, shorten the amount of time that they're gonna want to spend out on the ice with you. Tip number 4 is to keep them engaged. As you guys know, fishing can get slow at times, it can get boring at times. So you'll want to be prepared with things that you can do to keep them interested or entertained when their attention spans just start to drop. For us, it's always been about snacks. Bring along lots and lots of snacks. Have them pick their favorite snacks, even if you will. Then when they start to get bored, you can tell them, hey guys, at 12 o'clock, we're going to break and have a hot dog lunch. Or at 1 o'clock, we're going to break for hot chocolate and some cookies, or whatever interests them. It's a really fun way to kind of incentivize them to hit that next sort of milestone. So I really recommend incentivizing the kids with food and snacks to kind of keep them engaged. The other things that you can consider to do is tying in other winter sports. We like to bring along a sled that we use to pack our gear out on the ice, but you can also use that sled to pull around the kids if they get bored. If there's not a lot of snow on the lakes, you can sometimes bring along skates and turn it into a fun little event like that. Or even building snowmen or snow angels. These are all little activities that you can also kind of tie into your fishing day to just add in little other activities if and when their attention spans start to wane. Another tip here, guys, is to target fish species that are more active. We had a lot of fun introducing our kids to perch fishing and rainbow trout fishing in stocked ponds. And the reason why we do that is because there's lots of them, especially if you couple that up with some technology. Now this winter we started to use an underwater camera, which my kids really enjoyed. You can see the fish swimming around on there, and it kind of gives them like a video game type vibe. The other thing you can consider too is sight fishing. So basically looking straight down the hole and seeing the fish swimming around out there. Kids want to be able to see the fish, see them interacting with their bait or their lures. So between cameras and sight fishing and targeting species in abundance are all really, really good things to do. Tip 5 is all about bringing along the right kind of gear. Remember, kids are smaller than you. They may need to use smaller little rods or smaller little reels. Another really good suggestion on that same line is make sure that you're showing your kids at home their rod and their reel and how to use it effectively. You don't want to be giving all of that information to them out on the lake. So having them play around with their gear at home is such a really good way for them to be confident with what they're doing. And again, it's one of those things that you're less likely to come across tangles or issues or broken lines, right? If the kids kind of have a basic understanding of using their gear before they're actually dropping that line down the hole. Another tip that I always do is I will tie on different lures and different hooks to my lines before I go out on the water. Why I do that is because the kids can then switch hooks pretty easily, and it slows down the amount of time of me tying on these little knots onto my jigs or onto my hooks, and it allows them again to spend more time fishing and less time fumbling around. The other thing that you can actually do is show the kids the tackle at home. Get them to choose, their first hooks that they want to use. That way, when they're out at the lake, again, all they got to do when you get there, put some bait on their hook, drop it down the line, and off they go. And my last tip for gear is if you're in a tent like I am, that's going to help keep the kids sheltered from the wind and keep them warmer. But if you're in a tent, really, really, really do consider investing in a portable heater. You can pick up low propane heaters for $100. Keep the chill off, keep the kids a lot warmer. Make sure you bring along comfy chairs for them to sit on. And again, being out of the wind, being warm, and being comfortable. Again, coupled with those play towels that I was telling you about, you guys are going to be set up for an awesome warm day on the ice, and the kids are going to have a lot of fun. Tip number 6 is to plan for breaks. Fishing can take a lot of time and it can get boring at times. Having a lot of snacks, a lot of breaks to keep them engaged is a really, really, really good activity. If you're noticing that their patience is waning, their frustration is starting to get high a little bit, take a little break from it, let them have their reset moment. Like I said earlier, you can keep them engaged by making up that lunch, getting them involved, maybe, cooking up some hot dogs or heating up a warm meal on the stove if you pack that kind of gear along. Or like I said, take that little mini break to, go walk around, stretch legs, do whatever you need to kind of keep you reinvigorated and having fun. Lots of little breaks is a really, really good tip, guys. Tip number 7 is choose the right time. They always say at fishing, first light, first bite. But I'll tell you what, if you're getting your kids up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go fishing and they're waking up kind of tired and grumpy, you're going to be setting yourself up for failure long before you hit the water. I always like to let my kids sleep in a little bit, maybe plan on getting out to the lake around 9 or 10. I mean, you're not getting out there for first light, but on your side is this: the kids are rested. The second thing that will bring about is it's warmer. Throughout the late morning, early afternoon, those are great times to go out. The sun's out, the kids will be warmer, which makes, again, a big, big, big difference to keeping them engaged and happy out on the hard water. Tip number 8 is one of the most important ones. Stay positive and be patient. It's really important to keep a positive attitude. If you let your own frustrations rise to the surface, guys, your kids that you're fishing with, they are also going to be frustrated. So I always look at celebrating the little wins. Celebrate that first bite. Have a lot of fun with those kinds of moments. Make sure that you're keeping your kids on that positive sort of attitude, that positive sort of behavior. Another fun thing that we like to do is we'll incentivize the kids or come across little contests and games. What I mean by that is you can make a game where whoever catches, the first fish, the most fish, the biggest fish, make a prize associated with that. Or, for example, whoever catches the biggest fish of the day, maybe that kid gets to choose where you're going to get dinner tomorrow, or gets to choose what kind of movie you're going to watch tomorrow night, right? So these are fun little ways that you can kind of keep your kids engaged in some competition, and it does go a long way to them wanting to keep those lines in the water, with that reward of winning that prize. The biggest tip here, guys, that I'm going to give you is to set your own personal agenda aside. I promise you, when you're out fishing with your kids, do not expect to be the guy who's catching the most fish that day. Do not expect to be the guy who's catching the biggest fish that day. And you know what? It is not about that. If you go into it with that sort of mindset, you're more likely to have fun. If you go in there thinking that it's going to be the day where your line is in the water all day long, you really got another thing coming. You'll be busy cooking meals, keeping kids engaged, keeping kids having fun, right? So you really have to go there with your own agenda being set aside. Set your goal of just making it so that way the kids have as much fun as possible. If you go in there with that mindset, you're less likely to let negativity kind of take over. And I'll tell you, if you let that negativity take over, like I said, the kids are going to pick up on that, and it is going to be a cloud that ruins everybody's day. And there you have it. With these tips, you're going to be well set up to have a fun, safe day ice fishing with kids. Remember, it's all about having fun and making good memories and spending time in the outdoors together. If you found this video helpful, please remember to hit that like, that subscribe, and do share it with your like-minded angler friends. And remember as well to drop your comments below on tips that you deploy when you're ice fishing with the kids. I look forward to learning from you, and I know that the viewers of this video will also look forward from you. So please do leave those comments down below. Well, I think I will wrap this one up as I usually do. If you made it this far, I want to thank you so much for watching. And once again, if this was your first time here and you like hunting, camping, fishing, outdoor adventures, gear reviews, other outdoor related stuff, please hit that like, that subscribe, and the bell notification button so you don't miss anything. Until next time, we'll see you outdoors. We'll be back soon with our next camping, hunting, or fishing adventure. Until then, click subscribe below and check out these other videos.